Are we Gucci? And let me get to IG. Okay. All right. I think we Gucci, Roxanne. What up, though? What up, everybody? Episode 71, 21 Titles Weekly Recap. How are you guys doing? It's nice to be here.
Facts.
How you feeling today, Shantae?
Oh, I'm feeling great, honestly. Having a good day. How about you?
Productive day. You know, wake up early on Sundays, try to get stuff done so we can set the tone for the week. So I feel like I got that accomplished today. So hopefully the rest of this week does what it needs to do. My daughter's first birthday is at the end of the week, so planning a little birthday party.
Baby D's turning what?
Right. Baby D is turning 1 year old, so having a little get together. Okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, you know, it's a little stressful, but we make it work.
You're a real parent. A real mom, yeah.
Two of them things. Okay.
Yeah.
But what up, everybody? This is 21 Titles. We essentially do these weekly recaps to keep our community in the know about what's going on in the business of sports and, you know, NIL, tech, culture. We believe it's important for us to know what's going on, who's having these conversations, the deals that are going on behind closed doors. We should be privy to this information. So that's why we host these shows. We're also former athletes, both former collegiate athletes. As y'all can see, I got my Rutgers R on. I am an alum of Rutgers University. Shantae is an alum of CW Post. They have renamed themselves, rebranded. I don't know if Shantae wants to share, but
I mean, it's all under one LIU umbrella at this point.
Right. So, you know, we're coming to you guys with our insights based on us being former players and have played the game and, you know, actually, you know, been athletes ourselves. I also played professionally overseas, and you know, I think that offers some great insights as well. So, you know, we just try to come on here and do what it do, keep y'all informed while also giving our opinions and insights on what's going down. So, without further ado, let's get to it.
So, as we all know, this is All-Star Weekend, which is why our background looks like that. In Phoenix. Before we jump into it, this past week, Brittany and I was talking on the 9450 episode about how excited we were. Shout out to Lauren with the 9450. She was out there in Phoenix.
Yes.
And like just the behind the scenes videos and footage and content that we were able to see from her, and then like a few of other people on our timeline on Twitter. It looked like it was a dope time just connecting with everyone and seeing everybody in real time. And yeah, Brittany and I was talking about how excited we were to see the jerseys, you know, the gradient jerseys this year was fire. And I'm like skipping around right now, but then at halftime in the Team WNBA versus Team USA, we saw them change their uniforms like we reported last week they would do. But I guess I want to talk, even before we get into things, I wanted to hear your opinion about the format. You know, you and I offline was talking about how we wish there was a little bit more stuff happening that we could have watched.
Right.
Throughout those last days. So
yeah, I felt like this was first and foremost, it was an excellent, like, it looks like it was an excellent weekend. And everybody had a time, right? I need some Player Society gear, to be quite
ASAP.
honest. To be
ASAP.
quite honest. But yeah, I felt like as we move forward, there's room, obviously, for improvement, and there's room to continue to grow. I would love to see a celebrity game. I would also maybe love to see some type of like WNBA media game, like maybe like mainstream media versus independent media. That would be kind of fire.
That would be mad funny.
Look, that would be fire. You already know Team 9450. We we coming because we all hoopers. So I'm just throwing the ball to DA all day. Like facts. He kick it out. Whoo! Feel me?
Nah, DA would probably play bully ball.
Oh, that's a fact. That's a fact. Bully ball all day. So would definitely love to see something like that moving forward. Cause like the gap from Friday to Saturday is too long for me. We finished the evening at 10:30, maybe 11 on Friday night, and then we have to wait until 8:30 the next day to kind of relish in the festivities. So I think there needs to be something happening in between that time. Also, like I loved everything that happened this like on Friday, which we're gonna get into. And that all held my attention. The game, fire, but we need more in between. I need a celebrity game. We need something else. So those were just my kind of pending thoughts.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I just saw Kenneth's comment in on IG. He asked if we're coming out to do live videos at the female games, and um, that's something that Brittany and I have spoken about. I'm a DM you, Kenneth,
Right.
after this episode, but that's something that we definitely have talked about. But um, yeah, the game. We're gonna get into the game. We can start with Friday then. So like.
Yeah.
Friday we had the skills challenge and then we had the 3-point contest. So yeah, we can get into the skills challenge. Obviously we know, well, if you didn't know, on Friday there was a mass
IT outage.
there was an outage on Friday, so flights were delayed. People were sleeping and staying at the airports. They couldn't travel and get to their destinations. And unfortunately, one of those people happened to be Erica Wheeler, of the Indiana Fever. She was chosen this year to be part of the skills challenge. She was not able to make it, which sucks. So yeah, we saw her tweets, and then we saw a video of her, and Kelsey Mitchell actually ended up taking her spot in the skills challenge. But what was dope is that she wore Erica Wheeler's jersey throughout the challenge.
Right.
But then Brittany actually brought to my attention that Erica Wheeler is actually going to be moving forward with seeking damages from Delta Airlines, because she wants $55,000 in flight credit because she wasn't able to make it to All-Star Weekend. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Kenneth, you're absolutely right, by the way. I'm not gonna you're right about the IT stuff. But yeah, she's seeking $55,000 in damages, which honestly is equivalent to the Aflac. The money, that's where that's coming from. The money that she could have potentially won had she been there. That's
Right.
where those damages are coming from. So we'll keep a close eye on that. I felt bad for her. But yeah.
I mean, that was really kind of scary, seeing that the IT outage, the Microsoft IT outage, kind of affected all these different systems like this. There was global ground stop for 3 major airline carriers because this happened. And they said it was because of software update, essentially. So
Yeah, from CrowdStrike.
yeah,
So
that's not good.
it's not. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with that and Erica. Um, but yeah, moving on. Like I said, we had the 3 point contest. Alicia Gray, she ended up winning um the skills challenge. I mean, she won both, but um,
Yeah.
yeah. So with the 3 point contest, we could just start there, I guess, since I said it. Um, it came down to her and Jonquel Jones. I mean, Jonquel Jones just lost. She had 21 points. Gray had 22. Alicia looked so um shocked
Yes,
that Jonquel did not come up with the win because Jonquel was on fire.
she was. I thought Jonquel was gonna beat Alicia,
She was
and
repping for the bigs.
she was. She was. I thought this was it was definitely a nail biter. Like I enjoyed watching this. Both things, like even in the skills challenge, like Alicia came out and made a statement. Like she was ripping through, like how she ripped through the skills challenge. The first set is how I wanted the campers this past week to go through the skills, the drills, and the stations. And I
Got
didn't
it.
get that. I didn't get that effort.
Give the people some context because you set the campers.
Yes. So this past week I had an opportunity to be a camp instructor at the SUNY Sullivan basketball camp up here in upstate New York. Shout out to Coach Ben Newberg, the head women's basketball coach for SUNY Sullivan, for giving me the opportunity. But yeah, I wanted the kids at the camp to go through the drills like this. And, after 5 days, I think they finally got it at the end. And, they finally understood like what I meant when I said game speed. So yeah, shout out to Alicia Gray for going game speed because that gave me an example to kind of reference, essentially. So I love that. And 3 point
Right.
contest. Whoo! Girl took home 110K. She was
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah, she was not playing at all. Like we mentioned earlier, Aflac was giving out $55,000 for both the 3 point contest winner and then the skills challenge winner. And like Brittany just said, that was Alicia Gray. This is the first time we've ever seen in WNBA history a player actually win the skills challenge and then also the 3 point contest in the same year, which is dope. Um, I mean, in total, she left with $115,150, which is just 62% over her, or close to her $185,000 salary.
Mm.
Um, so she made 60+% more. Well, not more, but yeah, close. She's close to her salary. Like she made $115,000. So
She up.
yeah, she is up.
She is up. Shout out to
Hmm.
Alicia Gray because I think she's like one of the. I just feel like people sleep on her. Like
But how? Why?
I think it's because like Ryan Howard dominates the headlines in Atlanta, and she kind of takes a backseat towards that. But y'all gotta remember, Alicia Gray, she was hooping in 2020 for the
No, she was.
Tokyo, Japan 3 on
Yes.
3 Olympics here. Like she was out there with the goggles on, getting to it.
Yo,
Okay.
why Asia had them goggles on the sideline? Yo. I mean, it's so dope to see them joke around and be
Yes.
goofy and
Yes.
like that. But
Allow.
yeah, no, Alicia, and then bringing up the 3 on 3. It was good to see Ryan Howard.
Yes.
Who, and then Michaela Williams of LSU
Mm-hmm.
hooping. It made me excited just seeing those women, the college players out there. I'm like, I'm already excited about
The season.
college hoops and just the synergy between the WNBA and then college and having all those collegiate athletes there to kind of witness what they're going to be walking into
Right.
in the future was dope. But I love the fact that they're both feeding off of each other's energy. Like obviously their season's right around the corner while we're still in WNBA season. So it was just dope to watch that. Haley looked good. I
Yeah.
mean, coming off of a really like rough season and a lot of backlash
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
She looked good. She looked confident out there. But yeah, Michaela Williams. That's what I gotta say. Michaela Williams.
Super sophomore.
Yeah.
She about to come in. I
She
know.
looks I mean,
She
the
looks.
same way
Yeah.
I felt about Rakia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Michaela.
I think you read
Michaela. Michaela.
dope, bro. She dope.
Yeah, she is. She was doing work, so that made me happy to see. And then on Saturday, obviously we had the All-Star game. We reported last week how we saw Cheryl Miller was selected to be the coach on Team WNBA.
Right.
It was just I was excited to see her out there again because of her relationship with Phoenix, her coaching at Phoenix in its very first season,
Right.
and then her just being Cheryl Miller and how she was just talking about these young women, about these women. It was just full. It was a full circle moment. She looked very excited to be out there. She talked about how, she was excited to coach, and then they was like, "Nah, but we taking this serious."
Right.
Truth be told, it was a very serious game. Like they was hooping yesterday. They were hooping yesterday. Like we here to have a good time, but we're also here to compete. So
That's a fact. Like how if y'all watch the NBA All-Star game, most of the time the NBA All-Stars like they coast through the first 3 quarters and then like towards like the last maybe 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, that's when they really go hard. Like we got to go hard for the entire game yesterday.
the pace, the start of the game, the pace was crazy. I'm like, yo, I know y'all tired.
Yeah.
And there was a few times in which like people was trying to get in, trying to get subbed in, and was waiting for so long because just the pace and
Whew. That was fast pace. I know my chest would have been.
It would have been burning. Ooh. You know that feeling.
Ooh. That's the worst feeling when you getting in shape. Like it feel like you bleeding in your chest. Like if you never experienced that, then you never really been an athlete.
You never been an athlete. You never had to go through real conditioning.
Right. Because that's the best way I can describe it. It feels like your chest is.
You on the money. You on the money. And so it was dope seeing Cheryl Miller there. But yeah, like Brittany said, it was very fast paced early on. And Team WNBA left with the win. It was 117-109.
Facts.
Shouts to NECA. Let me tell you something. NECA out the gate, she was hooping. She had 8 fast points. And again, like the pace was turned up on both ends of the floor for both teams. But then come third quarter, Team WNBA
turned it all the way
turned it up.
Enrique.
Talk about it. You can talk about Enrique.
First and foremost, I gotta realize Enrique didn't have any points in the first half. And she finished with 34. I think she scored 20 points in the third quarter.
Yeah, like 20 plus points. Mm-hmm.
Look, I love growing the game, but some of y'all gotta accept that y'all haven't been watching. Woo, my Twitter timeline. Who's the Yo, this is what the league needs. This is what we gotta see. Blah, 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 blah. Look, y'all late. Okay? The product always been here. It's been here. Y'all just showed up late. Y'all showed up on CP time. Okay? We been here. Okay? Arike ended the game with 34 points. She was 8 of 13 from the 3-point line. Like cooking.
No, she was cooking. They said CC time. I'm looking at the comments on IG. Jasmine Jones talking about she been killing. They new to it. That's a fact. Happy they're here though.
Right.
But there is some due diligence people need to do.
But we gonna let y'all know y'all annoying. I'm just gonna let y'all know. Mm-hmm.
You said what?
We gonna let y'all know y'all annoying.
Oh, heard you.
We happy y'all here, but you know that's like people just bringing on the broken record. Just keep playing it and playing it. We already know that though. Okay. Y'all want to talk about the efficiency shooting wise, because that too, she's a volume shooter too. So
that she is.
We can talk about that, but you know, y'all been watching for one season. It's okay. Right. Other notables in the game. This was Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark's first All-Star appearance, and they did it as rookies. So that's kind of fire, you know. Angel ended with a double-double, right? 12 rebounds, 12 points, 11 rebounds. Caitlin Clark assists. She had 10. Homegirl, she gonna go down as she gonna pass Tisha Penichero. And shout out to Tisha Penichero.
She'll find you. As long as you run and you move, she's gonna find you every time.
Right. The only thing we need her to get better with is just protecting the ball. Like
stop being soft with the ball.
Yeah. And stop being so lax. Like she, you know, like in basketball, it's about possessions. How many possessions can you keep? And how many of those kept possessions can you use to score the basket, essentially, right? So there are only so many possessions in a game. So you have to honor those possessions and honor what you're doing. Like the game is very simple. Cut, pass. I think Caitlin, she tries to do a lot of home run plays. And that's what gets her in trouble. You could hit a single sometimes. You know, get to first base, second base. She be liking to hit home runs and triples. So, and then that's the enticing thing, right? Like when we see the no-look passes and the full court dimes and all that, everybody gets excited. So I get it. It's the wow factor also, but you know, it's also taking care of the ball. You a point guard, you gotta take care of the ball. Okay. And Breanna Stewart really had like a light 31.
Quiet.
It was real
subtle. Which is crazy. A quiet 31 is crazy. That's crazy.
Like real quiet. Okay. Diana Taurasi, 14 points, 6 rebounds. It's commendable what she's still doing at the age that she's doing it.
Absolutely.
40 plus still hooping. Also, too, 40 plus still hooping. Lauren Jackson. I cannot wait to see Lauren Jackson play.
Same.
Ooh, I cannot wait. If y'all okay. So for the newbies, I'm not gonna hate on y'all. I'm not gonna hate. Here we go. Here's some homework for y'all. Lauren Jackson, please go do your DD. Because when the Olympic Games come on and they're playing Australian
great. I was about to. You took the words out of my mouth. Australian great.
And they're playing Australia, and y'all on the timeline talking about who are these girls on Lauren Jackson is gonna go off, okay, for Australia. So be prepared. There's a couple of WNBA girls also on the Australian national team. I forget who, but don't be surprised when it's gonna be a grind. They play each other. I don't know what the bracket situation looking like, but Australia and also Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Canada is also stacked. A lot of WNBA players from Canada also on the Canadian national team. So do not be surprised if we have a battle with those two teams going into the Olympics. Okay. I definitely kind of went on a tangent, but
No, it was timely. So then we got Alicia Gray. She ended with 16. Alicia Gray just had a great weekend.
she sure did.
She had a great weekend. Um, I guess just piggybacking off what you said about the Olympics, I caught the last 6 minutes of the men's USA team
Mm-hmm.
yesterday when they played against South Sudan. I didn't watch the whole game, but South Sudan,
Yeah, they held
like
their
that,
own. They held,
like that.
yeah. Held,
Last play, questionable. Um, may have gotten away with a foul,
it's very questionable.
maybe.
Very.
Um, but it was a good game, and my brother Evan, shouts to Evan, was texting me nonstop because he's a LeBronian. Okay,
Right. So,
and
so was my husband.
yep. Um,
Yeah, crazy.
and just not for nothing, just the way LeBron is hooping at this age it is commendable. To your point, you were just talking about Lauren Jackson. The same could be said about LeBron, and it was just a really good game yesterday. So,
Absolutely.
hmm
I just want to shout out Royal Ivy as the head
yes,
coach of South Sudan. He's also a coach for the Houston Rockets. Um, and he's from New York as well. Went to Cardozo in Queens, played there, also played for the University of Texas. So, and then had a pretty good pro career, played 10 years professionally. Obviously got, he was moving back and forth and switch from teams to teams, but he played in the league for a little bit, y'all. So he has a wealth of knowledge and then went right into coaching. So this is right on time, and I just wanted to give him a shout out. He's another great basketball mind, and he's from New York, so why not? And I think that wraps up sports news. We get into business of sports.
yeah. So it's come to our attention. I think this was announced today or
Yeah,
maybe yesterday. So today that the WNBA is eyeing expanding into 44 games next season in
yeah,
2025. So
they consider it.
yeah, um, so they're trying to expand their regular season to 44 games for the year of 2025. And Kathy Engelbert, she said we don't have an international competition like the FIBA World Cup or the Olympics next year, so we'll be able to look at our footprint without any interruption or break like we're breaking this year, which is a good point. Um, I think that is probably a good idea to see, what that looks like and how that feels.
Right. And let me just say this, because y'all really be blowing mine. Y'all have to do a better job with TV scheduling. Like the scheduling is extremely poor. The staggering, there's so many opportunities for y'all to stagger the games. Obviously, we don't know all the factors that go behind media and making up the TV schedule and all that. But what we're saying is that the NBA gets it right with staggering games, and we can do the same as well. Like, it has to be better. Like, y'all want to add more games, y'all also need to make sure that we have access to these games, and the access is considerate of of people's, time. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Yep. So we'll have to see what 44 games look like, which is
Yeah.
dope. We'll see how it looks next year.
Right.
Moving on. This was like a major headline this past week. But the WNBA actually uh, looked into and closed a $2 billion media rights deal. $2.2 billion to be exact. If you haven't watched or listened to our Beyond the 94, actually, it wasn't Beyond the 9450, it was just Keeping It 9450, our CBA episode. Definitely check that out because this is something that all of us were discussing and knew was coming down the pipeline. And so, yeah, if you didn't know, like I said this past week, the WNBA closed on a $2.2 billion TV media rights deal. This deal was actually negotiated by the NBA. It was under that $76 billion TV media rights deal that they had, or that came out a month or two ago that they were negotiating. And so I think that was interesting. What I did hear Cheryl Miller actually say this weekend, excuse me, was that she felt like the $2.2 billion was still undervalue of how much the WNBA actually is worth. What I failed to mention earlier is that this $2.2 billion TV media rights deal is for 11 years. Um, I know that the WNBPA mentioned that they were interested in learning more about how the NBA got to a $2.2 billion figure.
Right.
I am too. Um, I don't think Cheryl Miller is wrong necessarily. I mean, I'm not a Brittany's more of a numbers girl in comparison to myself, but um, I would like to see if we could see numbers. We'll probably never see those numbers. I don't know, but I would like to learn more about how they got to that $2.2 billion number. Um, the current TV media rights deal that the WNBA has um, is about $60 million annually, and so what I will say is that with the $2.2 billion deal they'll have in starting in 2026, I believe that's going to total $200 million per year. And so before we get into like I guess the quote unquote negatives or cons to this potential deal, I think it's important to highlight the positives. And you know, with the $2.2 billion, that means that the salary increases will be there. Under the current collective bargaining agreement, salaries range from 64,000 to 252,000. But with this new deal, that means that starting out, rookies may be making six figures now, which should have been the norm. I mean, we talk about this all the time,
Right.
but yeah, they'll start off making six figures now. Um, how do you feel about that?
I think I would have liked to hear what numbers Cheryl Miller thought it should have been evaluated at. Um, I would have liked to hear that, but I think I still stand on what we said on the I'll be on the 9450 episode. It's still too long of a time. I wish it definitely was maybe 5, 7. I would push to 8 years at most. Um, $2 billion. Yeah, that could have been more.
Yeah, the game is going to continue to grow, so that may be I don't know a little under. It may be undervalued. Um,
Right.
what I do like is that under this deal, the partners at the 3 year mark can reevaluate how much the WNBA is actually worth, and hopefully within their agreement or deal, there's some sort of clause where, the total value is increased, obviously based off what the numbers look like at that time, and maybe they can renegotiate an increase
Right.
depending on how it's looking. So I think that's also something positive to walk away with. Um, we're still keeping it positive right now. Brittany and I talk about overseas basketball all the time. We talk about the Brittany Griner situation all the time. Um, this $2.2 billion TV media rights deal presents them with the opportunity. When I say them, I mean the players, to basically maybe stay home. They can stay in the United States. They don't have to worry necessarily about trying to supplement their income. If they do want to supplement their income, they don't have to go overseas
Right.
potentially. Um, do you want to talk about that a little bit, considering you played overseas? Yeah,
Man, yeah, it's a total kind of culture shock, if you want to say. You have to get acclimated. I had the opportunity to play in Belgium. I did not know how to drive a stick shift because that's the only thing that they have available. So I had to learn, and that took me 3 months to do. Right. Um, the language barrier, also, being able to fend for yourself, go to the grocery store, go to the farmer's market, buy stuff. So um, some people are not mentally prepared for the the mental toll it takes to go overseas and be away from your family and insert yourself in a new culture and adapt to that new culture and adjust to your surroundings and stuff like that. Like, that's a big deal, especially for people coming out of college. Like, I was fresh out of college, 22 years old, didn't know a thing, and had to get thrown into the fire, essentially. So a lot of people can't do that, or a lot of people won't make the choice too, because they may not want to have that experience. So being able to stay home and find something domestically is, I think, A1. Absolutely.
yeah. So that's another positive that can come out of this deal. Um, again, I guess I also agree with you. I think the deal is too long of a period. It's 11 years. I think I would have felt more comfortable with something in the 5 year range. If I'm being
Hmm.
honest, um, even though there's a possibility, and it's the likelihood is high that the 2.2 is undervalue of what we're worth. Um,
Right.
we work with it and we see how it goes. The CBA is, I think that, yeah, no, the players could opt out of the CBA in 2025. Um, and so I know they're probably gonna. It's not probably they're gonna opt out of the CBA. Um, and I'm interested in seeing how that looks for them too during that time with the collective bargaining agreement. But this is a big deal. This is big news. Congratulations. And we'll keep you posted with just all the updates and details of the deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Moving on, there was a lot of partnership announcements this past week. New Balance. New Balance and the WNBA announced a multi-year partnership. New Balance became the official partner of the WNBA with the deal unveiled midway through the 2024 season, just ahead of this past All-Star weekend. As part of the agreement, New Balance will create, broadcast digital and retail content featuring New Balance partner athlete and WNBA rookie Cameron Brink. And New Balance has been busy. I mean, even in the I said the LI, the NIL space. I feel like we've reported on New Balance quite a few times. New Balance has a partnership going with Clutch Sports with Rich Paul. Um, and I think they had a diff like a creative line of clothing that they were doing under New Balance. They just they've been moving. New Balance has been moving, and Cameron Brink, shouts to Cameron Brink. I would have loved to see her out there this
Right.
past weekend, um, because her future is still bright. It's very bright, but she's been, I mean, outside when it comes to these brand and these partnerships, and then within the realm of modeling slash fashion.
Right.
Yeah, the opportunities presenting themselves. So
Mhm. I
yeah,
seen somebody on Twitter say that basketball was Cameron's side gig.
yeah. I mean, she looks like a model.
She sure does, and whatever cover that she did, like she looked like she belonged, like for real.
Right, right,
It's undeniable.
right. She looks great.
Absolutely.
Um, so shouts to New Balance. Bumble. Now, what I will say is on Friday during the red carpet, I think it was Friday, yeah, or Thursday. Um, Bumble had an event. This is something that we talked about on Beyond the 9450, but you know, Bumble is the dating app, and but what I've learned is that Bumble has like different tiers in there, or just many business models within their like overall business model.
Hmm.
So they're not just a dating app that's focused, that's women led and women focused, but then they have like Bumble Friends where you can connect and make friends, and then they have like another tier of like Bumble Business or something like that, where you can, you know, network essentially. And so that was the tone of this past weekend. Bumble held a few events. Shouts to Bumble, and these players were there talking, networking, probably having a great time there. What I've come to learn about Bumble, what Brittany and I've come to learn about Bumble is for the past few years, they have been fully invested in women's sports. So they've committed to
Yep.
advancing women's equity and empowerment in sports. In 2023, Bumble launched its 50 for 50 campaign by teaming up with 50 college athletes through name, image, and likeness deals for the 50th anniversary of Title IX. And I think as part of that, I think one of the athletes was Cameron Brink. Um, and even before that, in 2019, Bumble created the first all women esports team, breaking new ground in a traditionally male dominated field. And it launched in 2018. In 2018, it launched the Empowerment Badge as a symbol of dedication to women's empowerment in sports. And I think the badge was in partnership with the LA Clippers, and their badge, which just had Bumble on it, was on the Clippers jerseys at the time. So they're not new to being in the sports space. This was news to me.
Right.
Never knew that. But it was kind of refreshing to read that because we're seeing a lot more brands and companies enter into this space for the first time. Because a lot of them have FOMO, fear of missing out, because everybody else is running to women's sports now. It's like it's a movement.
Right.
It's a movement. And so there's a lot of people that act like they've been here, but they haven't. So like I was saying, it was refreshing to read that Bumble actually has been putting in the time and the resources towards women's basketball.
Love it. There's a lot of people hopping on the trend of let's insert ourselves in women's sports because it's here now. Nah, Bumble. They created an esports team in 2019. Like esports. That's progressive.
Very much so. I was very shocked to read, all that on Bumble. So Shouts to their CEO, and then shouts to the W, seeing that that there's some type of synergy there
Action,
to
yeah.
to do this. Like, because initially Brittany offline when we saw this, we was like, Bumble,
Oh, what?
the W. How does this, like? I don't understand the relationship. So after really, doing a deep dive and doing our due diligence, we like, oh, this is actually a dope. This is a dope partnership. So shouts to Bumble. I wasn't familiar with your game. My bad.
Right.
Wasn't familiar with your game.
We will.
Um, yeah, but that's dope. Um,
There you go.
yo, moving on. Lindsey Harden. I mean, we reported on Lindsey Harden on the Beyond the 9450 episode months ago. She's goated. I mean, she's just recently been hired by the by the Lakers as an assistant coach for JJ Redick's staff. Now, I know a lot of people are new here. I love college basketball. If you didn't know, I love I love me some college basketball. And Lindsey Harden, and I'm gonna let Brittany talk about her relationship and experience with Lindsey Harden, but she gave a lot of people a very hard time in college. Um, but she's such a great basketball mind that her journey in basketball didn't end when her career ended professionally. And she went to Duke. If you don't know, JJ Redick went to Duke.
Right.
So that relationship still remains intact, obviously. Um, you know, Once JJ Redick became or it was announced he was the head coach of the Lakers, our timeline was up. They was giving it up. I'm not gonna lie. It was like, yo, he's never coached before. All
Right.
facts though. He's never coached before. LeBron put him in this position. But I will say one of the smartest things that I've seen him do, he had to have met. I'm gonna go as far as to say he mentioned Lindsey's name. Um, I think it was in his best interest to go get Lindsey.
Right.
Um, Lindsey will be the first woman to coach for the Lakers, and she will become one of the four of the women in the NBA who are actively on the coaching staff. That's a flex. That's number one. What
Right.
we did report on Beyond the 9450 some months ago is that Lindsey Harden is not new to coaching and doing a great job, an exceptional job in doing it. She was named G League Coach of the Year last year
Right.
for her work with the Stockton Kings, which is the Sacramento Kings affiliate. And um, again, just having that relationship with JJ Redick and her experience coaching in Philadelphia while JJ was playing there. Not he was able to see and experience that her coaching experience in real time.
Right.
So he knows, he knows,
He know her mind.
he knows, he knows her basketball mind, and yeah, it's just dope that they um went to go get this black woman
Absolutely.
with a great basketball mind to come and save the day because he's gonna need the help.
That's
He's
a
gonna need
fact.
the help.
At the end of the day, he's a first year head coach. Like, what does he have to lose at this point? You might as well just go in and guns a blazing. So I think this is a great move for them to get Lindsey Harden. I mean, she's done what she needed to do. Like, she's been, as of now, been with the Sacramento Kings since 2019. So, you know, she's been doing a phenomenal job. And, just to give y'all some backstory, like Shantae said, Lindsey Harden went to Duke. I went to Rutgers. I got a chance to play against Lindsey Harden when she was in her prime at Duke. In 2006, 2007, I was a freshman and she was a senior. And she was literally the best player in college basketball that year. Okay, I played Duke twice that year. The first time we played, We got smacked at home by 40. Okay? Like that Duke team was stacked. Allison Bales, Lindsey Harden, freaking Abby. I forgot her name, but she was the shooter. Karim Gay from Christ the King. Freaking who else? It was just loaded. Okay, loaded team. But that's why you play the game. You just play because you never know what happens. Okay. Also that year in the tournament, Duke was the number 1 overall seed in the entire tournament, and we got a chance to play them again in the Sweet 16 that year. We won by 1 point because Lindsey Harden missed 2 free throws with 0.1 second left on the clock. I could not believe it. Like literally our fate was in her hands and she missed both and I could not believe it, yo. Bruh. I still remember it vividly to this day. Like I'm getting goosebumps because I remember. Okay, but Lindsay, I just want to say I know after that was really tough, but look, I got the experience I got because you ain't make them free throws.
That's crazy.
Final 4.
No, but for real. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, but she was great. Best player. Tough. Okay.
Yeah, tough. Great basketball player and then just a great basketball mind. So shouts to her. We did see her last week sitting next to JJ Redick when uh what game was it? It was the Lakers. I forget
Yeah,
who the Lakers were
it
playing.
was some summer league game.
I
But
didn't
yeah.
know if you wanted to give your nasty award
Yeah,
out.
nasty awards to the commentators who did not acknowledge Lindsey Harden, but acknowledged JJ Redick. And she was sitting right next to him, like literally. So that just tells me y'all didn't do y'all DD. Y'all didn't know who that woman was, and y'all should have. Okay? So I've been a nasty that's the nasty award theme music right there.
Oh, okay. I actually like that.
Okay? I've been a nasty
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. But yeah, no, shouts to Lindsey Harden. This is a major deal. We love to see it.
Facts.
Moving on, Sue Bird. A lot was happening this week. I mean, Sue Bird, it was great to see her on television this past weekend, sitting on the sidelines during All-Star Weekend. But this past week, Mattel announced that Bird would get her own Barbie doll as part of the company's 65th anniversary celebration and Summer of Sports campaign, which is dedicated to highlighting women athletes. This is a huge deal. I mean, it's Mattel. You getting your own. Even Mattel don't want to miss this boat.
Right.
Like, we just talked about FOMO.
Right.
Mattel wants to get in on the action. Mattel is one of the biggest doll brands, probably just one of the biggest brands in general.
Mm-hmm.
There is to live. And they're partnering or working with Sue Bird.
Yeah. Facts.
That's a big deal.
Yo, you get your own Barbie. It's like, I made it, bro. I made it. I get my own Barbie. Okay, like this is like every girl's dream, probably, possibly. Like a Barbie with the basketball fit. That's fire.
With the basketball fit, with the basketball.
Yeah.
What I don't like is her knees. I just beat that. Mattel. That's what I will say. I didn't realize
the knees. She could have worn knee pads or something there. She could have put some knee pads there. Yeah, they could have did something.
Yeah.
That's
But outside of that, this is fire. This
you
is
know
a big
what?
deal.
I'm just saying this, Mattel. If y'all ever do Barbies for me and Shantae, I need to make sure that y'all put my meniscus scar on my knee.
Ooh, they should put my ACL
Yeah,
scar on.
I need that detail. I need the
My ACL
details.
scar. That's sick.
I need the details on both knees. Okay.
Yeah.
21
No, but
titles, 21 titles, Barbie dolls. Okay,
ooh,
we putting that into the manifestation.
come on. No, but this is dope. This is a really big deal. And again, another big brand just wanting to partner or just be in the WNBA sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Mattel. So shouts to Sue Bird, very deserving. Another Queens GOAT. I mean, New
Yo,
York City GOAT.
goats. We got a lot of them, man.
I'm not gonna lie. A
Woo.
lot of New York City GOATs, but shouts to Sue Bird.
Facts.
Moving on. I think we can skip this Affleck, but this past week, Affleck, it was announced that they would be sponsoring the WNBA Skills Challenge and the 3-point contest. We saw how that happened. Alicia went home with both $55,000 checks.
Yeah.
Again, shouts to Alicia Gray. We talked about that earlier in this episode. Um, Again, this we was busy this week. Google signed a historical deal with the
Mm-hmm.
WNBPA, the NWSLPA, and the USWNTPA. So we got the unions for all of
The
these
major.
these major women's professional sports. So the WNBPA is,
NBA.
again, unions, a union for the WNBA. Then we have the women's soccer league that I just mentioned, and then tennis. So this is dope that Google already has a partnership with the WNBA and then the NWSL. But for them to take it a step further and want to partner with the unions of these organizations
Right.
is different. I don't. I would have to do my due diligence in seeing if other companies have done this. I think this is a very unique partnership, like I said, for them to want to partner with the unions. And this past weekend, because they partnered with the WNBPA, Google Pixel became the official mobile phone of the union, and then the marquee union events, and then some events that happened this past weekend. So Google Pixel actually was the official content capture partner of the Players Associations and sponsored the WNBPA's Google Pixel Players Lounge this past weekend. Um, and I'm pretty sure it was fire. So each event this past weekend will feature the Pixel Player Portrait Studio, a VIP suite for athletes to hang out, relax, and glow up before being treated to professional photo shoots using Pixel's AI-powered camera. That included the second year of the WNBA Players Lounge, which had been expanded to involve brands like L'Oreal Group, Def Jam, and Body Armor.
Fire.
Super fire. Again, this is very unique to partner with the union. So shouts to Google for doing something different. Again, I don't know if anybody was at the Google Pixel Players Lounge this past weekend, but if you were, we would love to hear from you to learn more about how it was. But
Right.
it sounds like it was a good time.
Google Pixel Player Lounge.
That sounds fire.
Say that 5 times in a row.
No. Gonna sound crazy.
Ooh.
But yeah, that's all we had for sports news. WNBA sports news, professional sports news. Moving on, we're gonna move into more NIL news slash college sports news. This was a big deal. The NCAA committee is actually proposing a different start date for college basketball. Um, the
Okay.
Division One Council approved the change in October. The first game for women's basketball could potentially be played November 3rd, 2025, which would be on a Monday. And then
Mm.
the men's basketball could start November 5th, 2025, which will be Wednesday. So both sports are scheduled to actually begin their seasons November 11th. But the reason why they're looking to have the women start earlier and have that gap between the 3rd and the 5th of November is so that the women's game can have more marketing and promotional opportunities, contributing to the elevation of the sport at a campus level. Um, how do you feel about that?
I mean, if it's going to help increase marketing and promotional opportunities, then let's go. I feel like, and I mean, I don't mind the season starting a few days earlier. I'm beasting to see college basketball at this point, so I'm kind of happy. I mean, on the other end for the teams, they're not going to be happy because maybe practice starts a little bit earlier for them as well, and conditioning. Okay, I used to
Get the
hate.
words out my mouth.
Woo, I used
We
to.
both together.
Oh my goodness, I used to hate after summer going into fall conditioning.
Be on the brink of tears, and I'm not even. It's not even me
No,
exaggerating. I
she's
wish Jasmine was
correct.
still in the chat, but
She's correct. Correct.
Literal tears. Like, oh, like I'm gonna have to like lose my life on the track trying to make this time.
Yes. Correct. See, again, this is the insight we bring as former hoopers. To be the best in any sport, you have to be in great condition. And the conditioning, I know Coach Stringer put us through the conditioning rigor. Like we had a whole test, okay? Like Coach Stringer had to stop the test because it was people weren't passing. Like,
listen, I ain't passed right away. I'm not gonna
oh,
hold
for
you.
sure, I didn't pass the first what?
I wasn't passing. Your girl had to get up a few times at 5:30 to make this 6 o'clock
Breakfast
meet up
Club.
at the Breakfast Club to make the big girl time. Okay,
Right.
and at that time, I think it was 7:15. A 7:15,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
like a
Yep.
7:15 mile or a 7:30 mile.
That
And
sounds
that
about
was,
right.
yeah, no.
Cause
You
the
asked me to run that down, I'm gonna laugh at you in your face. I'm gonna laugh.
Cause my time, I had to be 6:15 as a guard.
That's guard time. Yep.
I'm gonna tell you, I made it my best time, y'all. 6:11. 6:11.
Have 4 seconds to spare, baby.
6:11. Okay. 4 seconds to spare. That was my best time.
No, I made it at whatever it was. Your girl was
Yeah.
diving. Your girl dived. Your
Oh,
girl
for sure.
rolled
For sure.
over the line. Whatever.
I got stories of teammates diving on the line too. Yo, knees scraped up.
As long as you made it.
Because we make the time.
You gotta make it.
But yeah, conditioning, y'all. These athletes are in the best possible shape.
Brittany, get your husband. He's in our Instagram live comments. He said I ran a 4-minute mile and then put caps.
No. I'm done with him. I'm done. But all athletes know how much it takes to be, a high level competitive athlete. That conditioning top tier. So yeah.
Yep. Moving on. Let's see what we got next. We got Indianapolis. So we know that Indianapolis is a hot spot, a hotbed for basketball, especially. I'm not gonna hold you because of Caitlin Clark. I mean, it's she's been bringing a lot of attention and a lot of revenue over there. And so I don't know if she had anything to do with this, but Indianapolis will be hosting the next combined women's basketball championship events. I also want to bring to y'all attention that they're also going to be doing this for the men.
Mm.
So what I mean is D1, D2, D3, and NIT
Oh wow.
is all going to be hosted in Indianapolis. I know DA, if you're listening, he's probably hyped about that. He'll be excited about that. For the women though, they're going to keep the same um staggered format, meaning the tournament format, meaning the first and second round games hosted by the top 16 seeds. That'll be announced on Selection Sunday. The regional play will take place at two host sites. That is the same. The Birmingham, Alabama, Spokane, Washington. That's going to be from March 28th to the 31st. The men, though, yeah, it's all going to be happening. The championships are going to be happening in Indianapolis as well. The last time that all divisions hosted their championship games in one state or one city was back in 2013. The men actually hosted all of their championships in Atlanta. And
Mm.
then the women, the last time that happened on the women's side was 2016. Um, and that happened in Indianapolis. And then it happened again in Dallas in 2023. Um, so yeah,
Why
they're
they keep
choosing.
picking? Why they keep picking Indianapolis? This is the ninth time they've been chosen as a host.
Yeah, this isn't
Do
new.
they do they have like stats that show us like how much the city makes for like
Oh,
events like this?
I'm sure we could probably find it.
Okay, because I want
But
to know. It seemed like Indianapolis is like they continue to raise their hand, like please pick us.
right, right,
We need it.
right. It's their hotbed right now.
Right.
For all things basketball. So
Okay.
um, yeah, Indianapolis is going to be the move. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Fire.
And yeah, that's all we have for college news, NIL news. But moving on, we also like tech here, so we're going to talk a little bit about tech. And this actually has everything to do with, I still call it Twitter. Who calls it X?
I don't know. I mean, I put X on here on my thing, but that's because I'm trying to cater to the new
I love
audience.
that. I like the honesty. I like the honesty. I like the honesty. But I still call it Twitter. But um what's happening is X and Genius Sports announces a new venture ahead of Paris 2024 for the Olympics. So, ahead of the Olympic and
Hmm.
Paralympic Games in Paris, Twitter and Genius Sports Limited have teamed up to introduce their latest innovation called Trend Genius. This
Mm.
cutting edge product is designed to leverage real time conversations to enhance and add engagement during pivotal moments. This is important, so let me dive a little bit more deeper into it. Powered by Twitter's ads and Trend APIs, the Trend Genius technology enables advertisers to sync with the live discussions unfolding on Twitter across various categories. By monitoring the velocity of specific topics, the system triggers preset ad creatives to connect with audiences at the peak of their engagement. This is brilliant.
Mm.
So all of our tweets that we'll be, getting off when watching the men and the women play in the Olympics, Trend Genius, this goes as part of their data, and then their ads are customized based on our conversations.
Mm. Yeah.
Again, making money off of our content. I mean, I'm not trying to like serious us out,
Right.
but these companies make money off of the content that we create. Content meaning our tweets. So that's essentially what's happening.
Right.
Um, in a unique twist, when chatter around topics subsides, campaigns are automatically paused until the conversation gains momentum once more. As the exclusive data provider for major sports entities like the NFL, NCAA, and the Premier League, Genius Sports drew on its expertise in data-driven solutions to develop algorithms that facilitate the streamless activation and deactivation of ad expenditures across the Twitter platform. That's brilliant, though.
Yeah,
That
I
the
mean,
ads stop and they can stop
they
depending on.
pause. Yeah, this AI stuff is gonna get real interesting. Trend genius. You,
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
you heard it here first. So like all the tweet and yeah, that is genius though. So I'm interested. I want to see an ad from Trend Genius, but y'all heard it here first. If y'all see it, we said it first.
Tweet us.
Yeah, please. Um, and then finally, we usually have culture news. That's where we talk about music, film, fashion, business, more business, entertainment. Um, I really did kind of want to talk about the Pitbull performance because I'm mad your face got like that once I said that. I'll let you get. Yeah. How did you think it was?
I didn't care for it. Straight off the rip, like it just seemed like Pitbull just looked like old. Like, to be honest, I don't know is if it's because I've known Pitbull for a long time, but like I wasn't trying to hear Pitbull. Like he was up there dancing with 6 other chicks, and I'm just like, this is not really my vibe right here. Like this is not really my vibe. Maybe one song I was like pumping my fist, but
Oh, so you was pumping your fist.
I mean, I think it was just off innate reaction.
Okay. All right.
But I wasn't really feeling it. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't even really paying attention, to be honest. I was doing something else.
Yeah, I was too.
Just to
I
keep
will say we said this offline. Like Pitbull, I know is not a cheap act, so
right,
the W definitely spent some bread, dropped the bag for Pitbull.
right.
But they could have used that money for another act or multiple
Yeah.
acts. Like really made it like a fake little Super Bowl type of thing. Like had different artists come out and perform, some of their hit singles.
Yeah.
We saw throughout the week a lot of people on our timeline expressing how they felt about Pitbull and how Pitbull caters to, certain listeners. And you're right. They're right. They're not wrong. Would love to hear from people that actually went to All Star Weekend to let us know how the crowd reacted to Pitbull's performance. I think I would like to hear from somebody that went.
Right. That's a tell.
Lauren,
Right.
if you're in here, like I would love to know how people received his performance.
Right.
But yeah, Pitbull. We'll see what happens next year. So
Yeah. Better act.
they do.
It's like the year before they picked Kalani, and we didn't even get to see her perform. And then
But
this year,
it's growth, yeah. But we
right,
saw it this year. Just
right,
like we didn't even talk about um what was it, the MVP trophy that Enrique got.
right,
And we saw in comparison to what Kelsey Plum had was a
right,
joke. And then this year, when Enrique went to pick it up, she was like, "Oh, this is heavy." I read her lips. She was like, "Oh, this is heavy."
right. They
So
knew they had to step it up because that trophy they gave Kelsey Plum, what was it, in 2022?
yeah, it was a
Terrible.
little thing, baby thing,
Yeah, baby thing.
baby thing. But so it's they getting better.
Right. That that that
Um,
that definitely was an upgrade for sure.
Great. So I'm sure next year, with all the tweets, and that's one thing I will say, social media. Listen, the revolution's on Twitter. because that's what's making things. I'm telling you, that's
No,
that's
you
what
right.
why we're seeing the change because everybody stay on Kathy neck, the W's neck. It's constant. We're
Yeah.
not letting our foot off the gas. So shouts to everybody
Shouts
that
to the Twitter mob.
that's really what that's why we're seeing change. So
Yeah.
just continue to stay consistent. I'm sure we're not, we'll see a better act next year.
That's a fact. For everybody that's saying Twitter is dead, X is dead, yo, you haven't been on the app. Like, yeah, it's a private app now. It's not public no more, but the drama is on Twitter. Okay? It's there. Okay?
It
Everything
is.
is
It
there.
is.
So come on, y'all.
Yeah. And then lastly I saw that boardroom tweeted that, all the headliners that were wearing the uh there were six footwear brands that were part of the WNBA All-Star teams. And that was Nike, Adidas, Puma, Jordan, Under Armour, Reebok. I thought that was cool just to, I don't know, on the business side, talking about who's a part of what brand. Kalia Copper being on Adidas, Aaliyah Boston being on Adidas. Um, so we'll see what those. I want to see more breakdowns like that from boardroom, and we can report back.
Yeah, I would like to see the breakdown of like the agencies everybody's a part of. I think that would be pretty telling because we starting to see so many different agencies spring up. On time agency, um, a lot of like more player driven agencies. So I'm interested to see the breakdown of how women are going about, acquiring their representation, essentially. Like that too. I want to know, how do y'all make that decision? Because I did not have a really um, great experience, kind of vetting agents when I came out of school. Like I got tossed the contact, and that was what I had to roll with because that's who I had at the time. Like it didn't. I didn't have an opportunity to kind of get wooed. Like I wasn't getting wooed by agencies. I had to go do the wooing myself. So I'm interested to see how the dynamic has changed in that sense with women in their representation. So yeah, I need a breakdown of that, y'all.
We'll love that.
Facts.
But yeah, that's all we got tonight. We covered a ton. Um,
Sure did.
Thank y'all for tapping in for our weekly recap. Make sure that you follow us on all social media platforms. Make sure that you follow I said beyond. Make sure you follow the 9450 on all social media platforms as well. We're
Right.
there every week, working on Beyond the 9450 episodes where we talk about the business of sports. And that's also a really good time because that's something that we're really passionate about and that we tend to focus on. So follow the 9450 on all social media platforms. Follow us on all social media platforms. Let us know if you have any questions or any topics that y'all want us to cover.
Facts. Facts. We will not be here next week because your girl is hosting an event. I'm part of an event.
Yeah.
Watermelon Sundays, y'all. We'll post it in our stories this week, but
It'd be a good time. Anybody in New York, yeah, tell them the details so they
yeah,
can.
this is Harlem's biggest plant-based cookout. It is done by our friends Mike and Evie. They are the founders of Watermelon Sunday. Uh, so we're gonna have a good time. It starts at 3 p.m. on Sunday, July 28th. I forget the exact address because
We'll
it's at
post it.
It's at a local community garden in Harlem. Well, actually, right next to, because we kind of expanded. We kind of outgrown that little community garden, so we right next to it.
I love it.
So there's gonna be a bouncy house for the kids. There's gonna be wellness professionals out there. Last year they had a massage therapist come out there and do some stretching and a whole bunch of health and wellness things. A yoga instructor. So we really just trying to do something for the community. Come out, get some free food. I'm gonna be doing a nice vegetable stir fry.
I
Okay,
know. I'm gonna try to make it.
I might even do a drink. I think this year I might pull out a watermelon drink to accompany the dish. So
I love that.
pull up, y'all. Pull up.
And you never know who you may see. One of the
Right.
years, Earn Your Leisure
Pulled up.
pulled up. Troy and Rashad was there in the
Mm-hmm.
community. So it's
Fact.
a real dope community event, to be honest.
Right. We had a lot of just local New York City kind of talent. Like all the photographers came out. Dave's Joint was there. Shay's
Shouts to
Days.
Hoops Dreams.
Hoops Dreams. Shout out to all the people documenting New York City basketball and just putting on and putting it out there. We love that. We're stewards of, obviously, the game. Also, shout out to LaWanda Green for making the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame.
Big deal.
Whew.
Big deal.
Big deal. Shannon Bobbitt is also in that class.
Shouts to Shannon.
Mr. Couch is
Yes,
also.
shouts to Mr. Couch.
Shouts to Mr. Couch. That too. Also, I'm gonna say this too. I probably will be at Uptown Challenge the last weekend, which is August 17th, to watch the final games and to do some scouting and to report back to y'all about some local talent in New York. So thank y'all as always. We got 62 people in here. Thank y'all.
Thanks for tapping in with us. And as always, thanks for tapping in with us. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.